Hello and welcome to BucTV News. I'm Jerica Dyson.
And I'm Ben Gillum. Coming up on BucTV News, get an in-depth look at the campus house.
And ETSU has landmarking change. BucTV News starts now.
You can find students of all kinds at the campus house, and with all that they do, it's no wonder. The campus house, otherwise known as the Christian Student Fellowship, provides several services to ETSU students, especially regarding their faith. Campus Minister Daniel Curtis told us about the events that the house hosts.
Every week we do generally the same events. Tuesdays we have a Tuesday lunch from 11:30 to 1:30. On Wednesday night we have a worship service at 7 p.m. and right before that we have dinner for $1. Pretty good steal, homemade food, pretty excellent, can't go wrong with it. And then on Friday nights we do World Cafe from 8 p.m. to 12. And that is just come meet some international students, or if you're an international student, please come visit us and get to be a part of this community, because you get to invest in it and make it your own. World Cafe is a gathering of traditional and international students. It was started roughly back in 2012, whenever there was a couple and they saw a need for students that came from overseas to the States to study to have community. So many students go into their dorms and don't really get to make those really intimate friend groups that we naturally have, just because we know people either locally or we join some sort of organization, make our friends from there. So this is a place for them to come, and it doesn't matter if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're Buddhist, like, religion has nothing to do with it. This is a place for you to come and be comfortable and get to meet people, make friends. So the free lunch can be anything from, we've had a lot of Mexican food lately. It's not always like that, but sometimes we get homemade lasagna and sometimes burritos, and I get that a lot of that's Mexican food, but there is variety, I promise. And a lot of it is home-cooked meals because local churches provide it. So.
.org.
Greek life is one of the notable factors of college life, and ETSU is dedicating a plaza near Centennial Hall to recognize the contributions of the National Pan-Hellenic Council. The council, also known as the Divine Nine, is comprised of historically African-American fraternities and sororities. ETSU's first NPHC organization started back in 1971. The plaza aims to inform our campus about the history of the 9 member organizations, as well as serving as a place for campus and community engagement. BucTV talked with Alexia Stewart from Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated to learn more.
So we ended up having a working business meeting with Brenda Whitewright, and she came in and basically facilitated a meeting for us. And during this meeting, we came up with the idea of what we wanted to see for the plaza. They took all of our ideas, sent it to some architects. The architects came back with a drawing. We all loved it, got approved, and here we are today.
A kickoff event was held last Friday and marked the beginning of the fundraising campaign to build the plaza. Donations and sponsorships are welcome. Contact the Division of Student Life and Enrollment for more information.
ETSU's Model UN Club is back and is already attending its first conference of the year. The Model UN is a student simulation of the United Nations, where the members act as leaders of various countries around the world. Each country works to advance their own state interests, all while settling the disputes and problems that arise. Club Vice President Marianne Perkins told BucTV about some of the benefits that members get.
But you have to learn about the mentality of that country a little bit. You have to learn about religion a little bit, and just lots of different things, what their enemies are, who their friends are. And so part of it is cultural competency and learning about other cultures.
The club reformed itself after a large graduating class left meetings empty. Thanks to advisor Dr. Kimberly Wilson and the assistance of the Buck Fund, the organization is back up and running and is always looking for new members. For more information, contact Dr. Wilson at the email address below.
The SGA is adding 3 new seats following student body approval in the recent election. Vice President for Finance and Administration Devon Waldrops said the movement began with a request to add a seat for graduate students only. It expanded to the Quillen College of Medicine and Gatton College of Pharmacy. Both previously had seats, but the new change allows for the position to be appointed by the respective colleges instead of being elected like the other positions. SGA President Megha Gupta believes these changes will help more students have a voice and allow for better representation of the entire student population.
ETSU's Grayscale has an exciting concert coming up for fans of a cappella and all things musical. Their concert, titled Shake It Out, takes place on Sunday at 7 p.m. in the Millennium Center, and tickets are already on sale. You may have heard these talented students at school functions or on one of their 3 albums, all of which are available online. General admission is $10, but with a student ID, tickets are only $3. For more information about the concert, contact the email address below.
Civility creates power, and the leaders of ETSU Civility Week work hard to create that narrative. The hope is to create a sense of openness across different political, cultural, and religious beliefs. There is also a goal to provide information and knowledge about different national and local events that may go unnoticed. Some of the civility events taking place this weekend include Hello, My Name is Uncomfortable, which discuss vulnerabilities in the creation of connections. Last night, a moderated Q&A featured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. However, it's not too late to join in. Today, there's a discussion on diversity at 7 p.m. in Maths Hall. This event is open to the public. Don't move. We have more details on the Jussie Smollett case.
BucTV News is back after the break.
Sweetie, okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool.
She's my superhero.
Good job, Kit Kat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
Every day, it seems there are new twists and turns coming out of Chicago in the Jussie Smollett case. Did he or did he not actually stage an alleged hate crime on himself?
Will the FBI get involved? Had the charges been dropped by the state attorney? Camelia Bernal in Chicago with the latest developments.
The city of Chicago deserves an answer, and they deserve an answer about accountability and responsibility in the system.
Twists and turns continue in the Jussie Smollett case 2 days after all charges against him were dropped, much to the surprise of the mayor and city police. The Empire actor was accused of staging a hate crime on himself in January and filing a false police report. Critics blame corruption, celebrity, and influence for what Mayor Rahm Emanuel called a whitewash of justice. But the actor says he's innocent, and his attorney suggesting the city should be apologizing.
That's who should apologize to the victims of hate crimes, who will now hesitate to come forward because they don't want to be charged with 16 counts themselves.
On Wednesday, a former aide to Michelle Obama admitted she put the chief prosecutor in the case in touch with Smollett's family over their concerns of how the investigation was being characterized in public. And the state's attorney, who recused herself from the case, admitted a Smollett relative also reached out to her.
After I received that call, I did talk to Superintendent Johnson. I had shared with him the concerns that have been relayed to me.
Now, a top Illinois lawmaker is quoted in the Chicago Sun-Times asking the state's attorney general to review the handling of the case, and the police union wants a federal probe. In Chicago, I'm Camila Burnell.
Do you feel blue? If so, try saying nice things to people.
Not only can your kind words cheer others up, you yourself may also feel better. Stephanie Angelson reports.
Is this the one with all the extra steak? Yep. All right, perfect.
Happiness. Everyone wants it, but do any of us really, truly know how to get it?
People walk around being so anxious a lot of the time, and we come up with lots of strategies for how to work with that. The problem is all of our best strategizing is what got us into this problem in the first place.
Dr. Gentile and his team of researchers set out to see if some simple behaviors could really change your mood. They enlisted the help of 500 ISU students and asked them each to walk around the halls of buildings for 12 minutes. But there was more to this, a little homework, if you will. They each had to do something extra while they walked.
We gave them randomly assigned one of these conditions. They either went out and they wished other people well, thought about how they were connected to each other, thought about how they might be better off than others, or just looked at fashions.
When the students checked back in, they had some surprising results. The students who wished other people well felt better, a lot better.
For me, the biggest surprise was that we could see this effect in such a short time, just 10 or 12 minutes of walking around doing this. Changed their mood, lessened their anxiety, improved their sense of social connection.
Could it really be this simple? Dr. Gentile says yes, it is that simple. The better question may be, will it be easy for people to put into action? Perhaps not.
Because it's so easy for us to be caught by our own thoughts, jump on that train of thought and ride it wherever it's going, rather than actually paying attention to the people around us. And this is one of the benefits of a mindfulness practice of whatever type, is it helps kind of make you realize, oh, I'm just trapped thinking, let me break out and pay attention to what's really around me. What am I really doing in this moment?
But don't let that discourage you. While it may take effort at first, Dr. Gentile says this is one quick fix you can believe in, and you may be on your way to more happiness in just 12 minutes.
Malcolm Harrington is up next with the latest on NCAA basketball action. Stay tuned.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I came from 5 generations of teachers. Losing my job was the bottom falling out of my world.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Welcome back to BucTV News. I'm Malcolm Harrington with your weekly sports update. Rocking Rocky Top. ETSU baseball was doing just that as they made a trip to Knoxville Tuesday to face the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee started things off in the first inning with a 3-run shot to take a 3-0 lead. From there on, it was all ETSU. Ethan Shelton nailing a grand slam to left center field, and then Ethan Caddy adding another run to take a 5-3 lead in the second. ETSU would add another run to the total, but Tennessee attempted to come back. We headed to the bottom of the ninth, and the Vols trailed 6-5, looking to win the game. But runners were caught off base, resulting in a wild double play to end the game and give the Bucs an exciting 6-5 win. ETSU softball headed to Betty Basler Field this week, hoping to avenge last week's loss to Appalachian State. The Mountaineers took control very quickly, 2 runs coming across the plate off an RBI single to bring home the first runner, and the second off of an ETSU error to add another run to the board. The Bucs were unavailable to generate any offense as Appalachian would roll on their way to a 5-0 shutout win. ETSU will be back in action next week in Radford, Virginia as they take on the Highlanders. Sunny skies on Sunday gives a winning mentality to the ETSU men's tennis team. ETSU welcomed Sanford to Johnson City, and despite the Bucs falling behind early in doubles play, they rebounded to take the match point. They would eventually run away with the match, taking all but one of the singles matches to cruise to a 6-1 victory, improving their record to 12-4 and 4-0 in conference play. The Bucs are back in action today against Charlotte, with the match beginning at noon. One of ETSU's most decorated soccer athletes is heading overseas for the second consecutive year. Eleanora Goldani finished her career for ETSU last fall, scoring 8 goals with 4 assists and playing a key role for the Bucs landing a semifinal appearance in the Southern Conference tournament. Goldoni will join some of the best players in Italy for the Italian national team as they have 2 matches coming up soon against Norway and the United States. Former ETSU quarterback is playing in the pros overseas. Austin Carrick recently signed to play with the Decea Venena Vikings in the Austrian Football League, and the former Buccaneers quarterback stood out in his first career start with the team. The Vikings played host to the Prague Black Panthers, and Herrick had a heroic day under center, going 15 for 23 with 227 yards and 3 touchdowns as Vienna crushed their way to a 28-7 opening season victory. Herrick and the Vikings will be back in action later this week. That's all for your sports news, but stick around for your play of the day from the Washington Wizards' Jeff Green Monster Slam.
Be there as well at the end. Green able to come up with a steal. Gives it right back, and Green elevating and dropping the hammer. That was they're trying to give CPR to a teammate over on the floor. You just can't take it anymore. This is called a facial. not a true facial, but it's a facial. Now you'll be talking about.
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to BucTV News. I'm Tyler Seagraves with your entertainment news. Dr. Enough turns 70 this year. The beloved beverage had its start in Johnson City. In commemoration, ETSU's Associate Professor of Appalachian Studies, Fred Saussman, is spearheading a documentary about the beverage. It explores how Dr. Enough and other beverages in the region influenced the culture of East Tennessee. Media and communication intern Gabe Perez worked with Saussman to dig up artifacts and with them the impact they had on the region.
It's been really interesting to see how deep the cultural ties go. We've talked to a couple collectors. You know, it's just fascinating to see the kind of passion that people have for Dr. Enough and local beverages.
The documentary is set to be included in an upcoming exhibit at ETSU's Reese Museum. Are you ready for some friendly competition? Quantum Leap in downtown Johnson City recently unveiled its brand new laser tag arena. The owners added the expansion following popular demand for it on their Facebook page. The participants enter the arena for 30-minute sessions with 3 games played in that time. New games are to be introduced each month to keep the competition fresh. The standard rate per person is $18, and college students receive 25% off with a student ID. Quantum Leap is open until 8 p.m. on weekdays and 11 p.m. on weekends. Participants can reserve time online or walk in. Circus Number 9 is a progressive band that mixes jazz, rock and roll, and bluegrass. On March 29th at 8 p.m. at the Down Home, the band will return to its roots for a performance that will kick off their first tour, taking the 4-piece south and then far to the west to spread their progressive bluegrass sound. The 4-piece string band found their footing here in Johnson City, and since their start, they've played alongside David Dreamin, Brian Sutton, Larry Keel, and more. Their first album, Modernus, released last year. Our local AMC theater is getting a renovation and challenging local zoning codes in the process. The theater at 1805 North Roan will be getting $4.6 million in new carpets, freshly painted ceilings, an outer facade, and new LED lighting. The concessions, restrooms, and lobby will also get a makeover. In addition, AMC plans to add a McGuffin's bar. However, the city zone that AMC occupies doesn't allow public alcohol consumption. City Manager Pete Peterson says that an amendment is being drafted to allow the McGuffin's bar to be installed. Construction is set to be completed in late summer of this year. The Jonas Brothers are teasing at dropping more new music soon, as Nick and Joe Jonas posted an Instagram story where they were wearing coordinated sports coats. In addition, Nick made an Instagram post captioned, "Shooting Something," speculated to be a new music video following their surprise comeback with the track Sucker. The Jonas Brothers have been creatively silent as a band since 2013. This recent comeback has one-time fans of the band and newcomers who know Nick Jonas as a solo act excited to see what the future holds for the band and what new hits they can expect. That'll do it for your entertainment update from your BucTV News. Coming up next is a Hollywood Minute with a look at Jordan Peele's second directorial debut, Us.
You people. It's us.
Without spoiling anything, Jordan Peele says he's open to another movie in what he calls the Us-verse. Peele tells Polygon he created a detailed mythology for the film's world, but he's wary of sharing too much. Quote, "When it's all wrapped up neatly and perfectly, it alleviates the fear. I don't want to do it." K-pop boy band BTS has dropped a music video for Persona, the first song from their forthcoming 7th studio album. Here's a listen. Map of the Soul hits physical and digital shelves on April 12th.
Freddie, concerning your private life.
What more do you need to know? I make music.
Bohemian Rhapsody took flack from some critics who felt it minimized Freddie Mercury's sexuality. Apparently that wasn't enough for Chinese censors. Moviegoers who saw the film in Chinese theaters claim key scenes about Mercury's sexuality and AIDS diagnosis were cut or muted. At least Rhapsody got a Chinese release. Oscar winners Call Me By Your Name and Moonlight, both with gay themes, never made it to Chinese theaters. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Welcome back to BucTV News. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This, a man steals a giant snake by using his pants.
And police use cutting-edge tech to nab a suspect.
If you're like me, then you like your news like you like your jokes. Cringeworthy. Police say a man was caught on camera stealing a live snake by stuffing it down his pants. Hey, don't look at me. I just, read the stories. It happened at a pet store in Rockwood, Michigan. Employees say when the 4-foot python went missing, they checked their security footage.
The first time we watched, I was like, no, that didn't happen. I was like, play it back. Oh my God, he just put it in his pants.
He then reportedly walked around snake in pants for 4 minutes before leaving. Police are now asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect in this bizarre case.
I would not be that calm with a giant 4.5-foot python down my pants.
Just so many jokes. We'd better just move on. Watch police in Arlington, Texas make effective use of a drone to catch a fleeing suspect. While executing a narcotics warrant search, the suspect slipped out a back window. Little did he know he was being watched from above by a police drone.
We got someone running out the back, white shirt, and jumping over the back fence. We got eyes on him.
As he fled, air operations specialists relayed his exact position to officers on the ground.
Running eastbound along the long fence line.
Within minutes, officers were able to take him into custody. It's an impressive display of how modern tech allows police to stay ahead of crafty criminals. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's all the time we have this week for BucTV News, but thank you all for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Any big plans coming up soon?
Well, actually, I am in the second round for ETSU Voice Off. So, the next, I guess the next time I go is March 31st. So. Yes.
So is there a big prize at the end that you're waiting for, or maybe a solo
if you
album?
win, you get, I think, 5 songs like on an EP, and you get to record with your vocal coach and $1,000. So I'm going to keep pushing and hoping for the best. So.
And how many rounds were there going to be?
There's 4 rounds.
Wow,
so,
already halfway there.
Already halfway there. I'm nervous though. But do you have any plans for the weekend?
My brother's actually coming in town soon, and I'm planning on heading home and, enjoying some time with the family.
Oh, that's always fun. I miss my brothers.
It's always fun to get to, enjoy an evening or two or a few home-cooked meals.
Yeah, maybe go catch a movie or something. And I know they have that little batting place where you can smash up things. It's getting deep in the semester, so. Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend.
#RobotChurch.